Okay, everyone, so stop me if you've heard this one before. Point 1. Without God, there can be no objective moral values. Point 2. Objective moral values exist. Point 3. Therefore, God exists. The 3 points I've just laid out are elements of what is commonly called the moral argument for God, or the argument from objective morality. Many theists will take it even further and argue that while atheists cannot absolutely claim that actions like murder, theft, or rape are wrong, their religion is superior in that it gives a believer stable grounds in which to condemn these activities. Whenever William Lane Craig debates a prominent atheist in a formal setting, you can be sure that this argument will make an appearance. Now, in this video, I will not attempt to make an argument for objective morality in a godless universe because, one, I don't believe in objective morality, and two, many YouTubers in the free thought community, including me, have already made videos about goodness without godliness or secular morality or being good without God or whatever you want to call it. What I will attempt to do in this video is lay out the reasons why appeals to deity cannot be used as stable grounds for absolute standards of right and wrong. The first point I would like to make, well, more reiterate because I've made this point already in a video about how absolutely sick I am of objective theistic morality. I posted it after the Reason Rally last year. Anyway, I wanted to make the point that we cannot differentiate between the various transcendent supernatural moral lawgivers, quote-unquote, since they do not manifest themselves in ways that can be differentiated from human opinions that can be arrived at by human reason, prejudice, and superstition. So long as deities are assumed to act by human proxy in order to spread their moral opinions, we will have objective moralities, again, quote-unquote, as different as each human being. Christian apologists and less polished evangelists sometimes like to make the argument that there must be an ultimate authority sitting above us all, judging right from wrong, a divine moral lawgiver, if you will. Then, however, they make a very subtle non sequitur from some kind of ultimate supernatural authority existing to then claiming that it is the God of their particular religion, and that it holds all of the same beliefs that their sect holds regarding politics, entertainment, and what people are doing with their genitals. I think this point can best be illustrated by a hypothetical scenario. Okay, so indulge me for a bit, just for a bit, okay, everyone? Now suppose you just met me and my friends at a party or something, and in general, you've enjoyed our company. We seem like nice enough people. However, at some point, we give you an invitation. I say something along the lines of, "Hey, we've really been enjoying chatting with you, buddy. Would you like to come with us on our vacation this spring? We're going to engage in ritual human sacrifice. It's totally going to be awesome. We've already bought our tickets to Mexico City, and we've got a whole week of festivities planned out before the bloodshed. We've already selected the lucky young man who's going to have his heart ripped out and whose flesh we're going to eat." Now, of course, being a good Christian, this alarms you, and you immediately speak out against this gruesome plan because you know that the invisible, inaudible, intangible, divine moral lawgiver, Yahweh, abhors the practice of human sacrifice. Well, except for that time he commanded it of Abraham and his failure to speak up for Japheth's daughter, and of course the whole underlying theme of the Easter story that forms the foundation of Christian theology. But in general, the invisible, inaudible, intangible moral lawgiver does not like human sacrifice, and you have a personal relationship with him, so he's basically told you this himself. So filled with righteous anger, you respond, "Don't do that. God does not approve of human sacrifice. It is a grave sin. You will go to hell." But my friends and I look at you with a strange look and say something like, "Nah, man, that ain't true. That's not true. The invisible, inaudible, intangible, divine authority, Tezcatlipoca, absolutely approves of the practice of ritual human sacrifice. Tezcatlipoca told me so himself. He is a god of destiny and fate, and we are all his slaves." Bewildered by my attitude, you say, "But the poor young man you are going to kill, you will be violating his God-given rights." To which I respond, nah, we're not. Tezcatlipoca is a divine authority, and it's absolutely his right to decide who lives and who dies and whoever he wants to. Besides, you have to understand our rituals in their proper cultural context. This isn't some person who's being treated badly. We have had months of the best food and wine given to him, bling and swag and all you could ever ask for. He has been treated like the embodiment of our God, the great smoke and mirror himself. When we rip out his heart and eat his flesh, he will have received a great honor. Besides, it's a moral act. If we don't sacrifice people, we might anger our God and face famine." Mouth wide open, you say, "But your God is obviously a false God. Why? Well, my God is real. You can't possibly believe this." To which we respond, "I have faith." So in my scenario, we can see that we've got ourselves a bit of a conundrum. We have two divine moral lawgivers holding two very opposing positions on a certain issue. Now, my theist viewers, I have to ask you, in the scenario that I've just presented, how exactly do we determine which side is right and which side is wrong in a world where faith is considered a stable foundation for ethics and divine command is given legitimacy? So long as these deities don't manifest themselves in any obvious way, we're only left with the opinions of their human acolytes who claim to know their will. I find it interesting that very often Christians particularly, theists in general, but Christians particularly, will argue that when an atheist claims that murder is wrong, they are just stating an arbitrary opinion, while they claim that they have a solid foundation to ground moral absolutes because they have an authority that transcends human existence. I personally think it's past time we infidels took the high ground on this issue because, at the very least, we can demonstrate the existence of the things we base our morality on, while deities have to be believed in on faith. But even if I assume that a transcendent authority was necessary to create a secure foundation for moral claims, what is to prevent me from taking an absurd or extremely cruel position like the human sacrifice example I just gave, and then claiming that an invisible, inaudible, intangible supernatural being commanded my position? It doesn't even have to be a being like Tezcatlipoca, who had a very large group of worshippers in the past. I could claim an invisible pink unicorn, or a flying spaghetti monster, or an invisible supernatural garage dragon commanded by moral positions. In a context where both evidence-based proof is discarded and faith and unquestioning divine command theory are considered legitimate, what possible argument could you employ that wouldn't logically undermine your position as well? In all honesty, I don't think that we even need to pit two separate religions or two separate deities against one another. In a world where gods do not manifest themselves, we can create one of these conflicting moral impasses using the same deity and practitioners of the same religion. A great example of this would be the debate over slavery among 19th century Christians in the United States and how that divide helped lead to the formation of the Southern Baptist Convention. There were other issues at play as well, but slavery was a big one. So how exactly do we determine right from wrong when both sides are appealing to the same quote-unquote infallible holy book to sustain their argument, and their God won't show up and settle this very important issue? All of these things together, I believe, make the case that gods are not a stable foundation for any kind of epistemology, but especially those relating to morality and ethics. Until the day that one of these supernatural beings actually makes itself apparent, all we've got to rely on is our reason, empathy, and tangible kindness. In my opinion, that is more than enough. Answer the questions by questioning the answers, everyone. Take care.